Hello everybody, Chris here, and today I wanted to show you how you can create a better blog post inside of WordPress. Because, when it comes to blogs, there are a heck of a lot of blogs out there, literally millions of articles on the internet, maybe even billions at this point, who knows. And you're not just competing with other WordPress blogs, but you also have to keep in mind that there are blogs on Blogger, Google's Blogger, there's blogs on Tumblr, all over the place. And, every Twitter account, every Facebook page, that's all competition. Why should people read your blog when they can read all those other sources out there on the internet? So, in this day and age, if you want a blog that is actually read whatsoever, really you have to do a good job with it. So, inside of WordPress, which is pretty much the best blogging software you can install on your own web server or virtual private server, however you have it set up for your website. It has a really, really quite slick interface, which is very simple. Anybody can understand it. So with the title, you should definitely make sure that you have a title which people would actually be interested in clicking. Generally, you don't want to have too many words in it, and you don't want to have too few. For instance, say we were going to title this video. We could also title the blog post in the same way. So, how to build a better blog post. That might be a decent blog title, actually. And then you would move down to the the body paragraph. And inside the body, you can put whatever you want. But here are a few things. First off, when it comes to SEO, search engine optimization, you want to have at least 300 words in your blog post just so that the search engines don't mark you down in terms of their scoring algorithm for having too few words and basically being labeled as low quality content. But 300 words isn't really going to be enough in most cases. A 300-word blog post might be good enough to say, okay, here's the news, what just happened, basically. Almost like a snippet from the real story that someone else posted somewhere else. But if you want to build your own real blog post, then you're probably going to want a lot more words than that. I would say 700 would be a good starting point. But if you want what's called evergreen content in here, you could shoot for 1,000, 1,300, even 2,000 words is not too unreasonable. Some of the best blog posts can go 3,000 words or more. That doesn't necessarily mean making a 3,000-word blog post is better, because that does mean it's going to take more time invested. And there are some people who would say more blog posts is better than one big ones. And there's others who would say that having, an occasional big, valuable blog post is the way to go. It kind of depends on what type of topic you're covering specifically. So beyond that, just make sure you have at least 300 words, but preferably 700 or more. So you're going to want to also have H2 headings probably in your blog post, if it's a long blog post. Because what a heading does is it helps separate your content, and I believe it's also something that search engines pick up on. How many headings you have in your blog post, and do those blog posts tie into your keyword. In fact, I believe that's one of the criteria that the WordPress SEO plugin by Yoast actually analyzes. So let's go ahead and set a keyword here. And it can also be multiple keywords. Let's just call it blog for simplicity. And then check up here on the publish section. And it should be able to calculate. But apparently that can only work if you have published it. So we'll go ahead and publish this without publicizing anywhere. So publish, just so that we can get that page analysis. And you can kind of see the criteria for getting a good SEO ranking. Now that doesn't always mean that, having a good SEO ranking is the end-all be-all, but it certainly can't hurt. So you'll see one of the criteria in here is going to be like, you have headings, but there are no keywords in your heading 2s. Yeah, here we go. Haven't used a keyword, key phrase in any subheading, and that's marked as red. So actually using headings is good for the search engine. It's also good for your readers, just because it lets them read things a lot easier. Because having your main body text separated by these headings is going to make it a lot easier to read. And you want to break up your content, especially on the web, because people don't have the best, I guess you would say, attention spans. So giving them small, short, condensed blocks of easy to read and good information is usually a good way to go. So I do recommend that you pick up the WordPress SEO by Yoast plugin if you don't already have that. And then whenever you actually write your post, you should probably write your own meta description so that you know exactly which words are going to show up on Google search and all the other search engines. Generally what I like to do is just kind of take the first couple sentences, because those usually describe what your post is about anyway. They're the introductory paragraph. And using that as the meta description for most purposes will work just fine. So put that in there, get it close to 156 characters. You could put 3 dots to represent, hey, this post is continued. Click here to continue. Just make sure no words get cut off and you should be good to go there. All this other stuff is theme specific to the one I have, which is X, a premium theme that I use for my blog, chrisnavarre.com, if you want to go check it out. And you can kind of get a sense of how I like to write by checking out some of my blog posts, if that helps you out. So with this format stuff, some themes do change the way they present information based on which format you choose, but generally you can kind of overlook that. What you do want to include, though, are going to be tags or taxonomy. Like here we'll have some of my commonly used tags. And you can use this not only for the metadata. When other sites or other search engines pick up on your data, they can categorize it better. And that's a good thing, because you want your posts to show up where appropriate. And it also helps them show up correctly on your website itself, because these tags are one of the ways people can navigate through your blog. For instance, if they are on an article which has the ebook tag, you click ebook, it might take you to the WordPress page, which would be something like /tag/ebook, which would show all the other posts that are tagged with ebook. So like categories, it helps, categorize your posts. But here you can add a lot more options, and the category should usually be for the main overall arching topic, but tags can touch on the subtopics that your blog posts each contain. So categories. You don't want to leave your post uncategorized. Just create categories as you need them. A few words at most. Here being a writer, 3 words. I don't think I would ever go more than that, honestly. Even though the second word is just a, and that arguably doesn't even count. But 1 word is ideal. 2 words is fine. 3 words is iffy. More than that, and you probably need to split up your category into more categories. And depending on what theme you're using, sometimes when you're posting links to other blog posts, like for instance, if you have a custom front page, you might have a front page teaser where the featured image actually shows, especially if you have like a grid or more creative theme installed on WordPress, then the featured image is going to be shown elsewhere. And that makes it important that you choose a good featured image. Often horizontal ones do work best, because that's usually the kind of style that each theme likes to present in, so that your top and bottom aren't getting cropped off for being in the wrong ratio. So horizontal images are often good for that. But of course, you can also include images in your post itself. Just the difference is that the featured image is always going to be shown at the top of your post. And if your theme supports it, or if you're building custom pages, you can have that featured image show as you tease on other pages the link to your blog post. So keep in mind your featured image. It's usually not a bad idea to have one for every single post. Your blog may be pure text. I don't know if going pure text would really be such a great idea in this day and age, because like with how the internet is now, we have fast speeds, images load quickly, and having a little bit of graphics on your website does kind of go a long way. Though that's just my personal opinion, and it's not necessarily necessary to be completely redundant there. So that's basically what you need to know. Use headings. Try to aim for 700 words or more. Make sure you have a blog title, and this is really important, that people would actually want to click on and that people are actually going to search in Google. You can use something like Google AdWords to figure out what kind of terms people are searching for. The title is the most important by far. And then I recommend you use WordPress SEO. Check the page analysis. Try to get a good SEO ranking on every post you do. Make sure that whatever keyword you want to focus on, you have it being mentioned at least a couple times in the content. You don't need to go overboard with it, and it's actually a bad idea to go overboard with it. And for the meta description, you can just put in the couple first sentences of your post or whatever else you want. I do recommend that you put one there so that you know exactly which details are going to show up in the search engine. Remember to tag, remember to set a category, and yeah, that's pretty much all there is in terms of basics for writing a good blog post. Aside from that, just focus on the quality of your content. Make sure you edit it to make sure it all sounds good to the reader, and that you take advantage of things like bulleted lists, numbered lists, and all those other goodies for making your post easy to read. So I hope that helped you out. I've been Chris. You can check out my own personal blog on chrisnavarro.com/blog. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave those down below. And if you'd like to donate to my Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/christutorials. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.